Morning, John.
Morning, John.
John, can you hear me? We can't hear you. Say hello or something.
Good morning. Good morning.
We can't hear
I
you, John.
hear everybody but John.
That's right. Can't hear you, John. James, was that you?
That was me, Alan.
Oh, Alan. Okay. All right. I'm not the only one going crazy then.
Same here.
You are not. We don't hear.
Yeah.
Morning, guys.
Can you guys hear me now?
There he
Yes,
is.
sir.
Hey.
You guys got me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Talk to me.
Yes.
Good morning.
All right, I'm gonna try the headsets again just because the sound is better that way. And if I go mute again, then we're gonna take those off and go back.
Awesome.
Okay. How we doing now?
Yes.
Talk to me.
Yes, you can hear.
Yeah, we can hear
There
you.
we go. Holy cow.
Excellent.
That was interesting. All right, so let me tell you what you guys missed. I was looking for the ID number up on the left-hand screen, and it wasn't there like it usually is. I know Zoom did some updates yesterday. So if you look at the top of your left of your screen, you've got this little eye in the middle of a circle. You click on that and you'll find the ID number. It used to just show. and it doesn't show there anymore. So it took me a few moments to find it. We're good. Tell me something good. By the way, I asked, tell me something good like a dozen times, and I'm like, nobody's talking to me. What's going on? All right, let's go. Talk to me.
I'll tell you something good.
Jenny.
Went under contract, received a deal over appraised value yesterday.
Love that. Love that.
Congratulations.
Yes, yes. And loved reaching out to you and talking to you on the phone yesterday, Jenny. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you to everyone who I reached out to and spoke to and who responded back to me with a response to the favor that I asked you. So greatly appreciated. It really, truly is. I see Anna nodding her head. Anna, thank you so much. I really do.
Thanks, John. It was nice talking to you yesterday. And thank you for helping me as well.
Yeah, LaToya, absolutely. Have you reached out to Dago yet?
Yes, I have. I spoke to him last night around 6 and I gave him the contact.
Perfect. There you go. All right.
Morning, John.
Good
This is
morning.
Olivia. We got an offer accepted by my seller yesterday. And it was a little complicated because when he was here, he's French, Canadian. When he was here, the communication was good. When I was sent the offer, he's like, I don't understand all the English, so I have to find a translator in Canada to translate the whole document for him.
Okay.
And do it. He signed it yesterday.
Perfect. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. One more and we're going to get started. All right. We're just.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes. Good morning.
Good news. Jessica and I listed hit the MLS yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So cool. You rock. Good job, Christine.
You're welcome.
Hey, John, me too. Dave Costello. My house is up for sale. A beautiful 5-3 in Coral Springs.
Love that. Love that. Love that.
And I got my first showing already.
There you go. It's going to sell quick, Dave. It's going to sell quick. So
Yeah.
for those of you who were on our team meeting yesterday, what did you think of Jason Abrams and Pat Flood? How cool was that?
That was awesome.
Wasn't it? Yeah, totally cool. Absolutely incredible. So I'm going to start today by talking to you about something that Jason Abrams talks about. And what I'm doing is I'm drawing the life cycle of a real estate transaction. And what we know is this is the day that we have a closing. And if our average commission check is $10,000, then that lead is worth $10,000 on the day that it closes. And the very next day, it would make sense, the value is zero. I'm not going to buy a home today and go out and buy another home tomorrow, not unless I'm an investor and I'm buying multiple properties. And the time period between this day and the day that that same client buys another home is usually 7 to 10 years. Now, here's the question. What's the value here? And here, and every other day between this day and this day is in this graph. Now, if I had a real estate team and you were a part of my team and I gave you a lead right here, you would say, John, awesome lead. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so excited. If I gave you that same, if I gave you a lead here, or if you got a lead here and you talk to that client, you would say, yeah, lousy lead. That one's going in the trash. Yes or yes? Now, what I want to do is I want you to change the way you're looking at this. And I want you to look at everybody that's in this group as a lead that eventually is worth $10,000. Now, the next conversation is, we know this is also the life cycle of a real estate transaction. The day that lead closes, if my average commission check is $10,000, that lead is worth $10,000. And we also know that this time period right here is usually about 7 to 10 weeks before I'm going to list my home or buy a home. And everything to the right of this line is transaction management. And if that's true, then we also know everything to the left of this line is lead generation. And then this area in the middle is follow-up. And our job as real estate agents is to master lead generation, lead follow-up, and transaction management, all at the same time. Now, here's where I want you to change the way you're looking at things. Rather than lead generating for opportunity, I want you to lead generate in order to create a better experience for your customer. I want you to lead generate in order to create service for those individuals that you have an opportunity to speak to. Every conversation is an opportunity to bring value and to create service for the people that you are speaking to. In other words, I'm lead generating not to find opportunity, not today. And actually, if we went back 6 months, if I got you in a time machine and I said, let's go back in time 6 months, cool. It's November of 2019. You're in the training room. We're having the same conversation. I would say the same thing. I would say, don't lead generate to find opportunity. Lead generate in order to create a better experience for your customers. Lead generate in order to bring better value to your customers. And that's everyone that you're currently working with. That's everybody over here. It's also everybody in this group in the middle too. And change the way you look at things, things you look at change. Let's call them care calls. And I think one of the reasons that real estate agents are not making calls today is because they don't want to sell, they don't want to sound salesy in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. Like Jason Abrams was saying yesterday, this is a health crisis. And we don't want to sound salesy in the middle of a health crisis. So don't. Change the way you look at things and make care calls. Make care calls just to check in on people and see how they are doing. Now, if you were on James Shaw call this morning, you heard him say it's okay to be thinking 90 days to 120 days out. And he also says 90 days from now, you're either going to get a paycheck or you're going to get a bill. And what you do today is going to determine whether it's a bill or it's a paycheck. And here's what I want you also to hear. Don't just call people and ask them, how are you doing? What can I do for you? I know things are tough. This is script. I know things are tough. They're tough for me too. And what can I do for you? What can I share with you today that would bring value for you? Ask them if they know about all of the different loan packages that are available through the government. Ask them if they know about the grants that are available. Go through a budget audit with them and take all of their finances and divide them into 3 buckets. Everything in bucket number 1 is everything we absolutely need to have. Food, shelter, electricity, things we absolutely need to have. And then the second bucket, these are the things that we want to have that we don't want to let go of. But if we absolutely had to, if our back was against the wall, could we live without? And then everything over here is just, and I love the way Jason said it, these are just the things that we have because we're rich. And when we look at our monthly budget, both personal and professional, there's a lot of things that are over here that we really don't need to have. I can go on my cable subscriber and I've got Netflix, I've got Amazon, Disney, and I just go on and on and on. Do I really need to have all those things? I don't remember the last time that I looked at Amazon, but I look at Netflix every single day. So maybe I can live without Amazon. I'll get rid of that and save 20 bucks a month or whatever it is. These are conversations that you could be having over here as part of your care calls. Now, I also want you to hear this. When you're talking with somebody and they say, and real estate comes up in the conversation, and they say, I'm just going to wait. You have a couple options right here. You could either say, yeah, that's cool. I understand you're waiting 90 to 120 days for Corona to go away, and then you're going to put your home on the market. That's awesome. And you can say, I'll just stay in touch with you for another 90, 100. I'll just stay in touch with you in the meantime. Now you're creating emotional proximity, right? Which is awesome. However, I don't think that you should stop there. I think you need to ask a couple questions. In other words, if I were to ask Michael, if I were having a conversation with Michael, and if I were to say, Michael, what's important to you about waiting?
Well, I'm just not thinking that a lot of houses are selling right now, and I just don't want to put it up knowing that we're not going to be able to sell it.
Yeah, I get that. You know, and just out of curiosity, if you did sell, where would you go?
Well, we would like to get back to the beach.
Yeah, that's nice. And before Corona, when were you hoping to get to the beach?
We would have liked to been there by the winter.
Say that one more time.
By the winter time.
Yeah, okay, cool. And you're probably going to use the equity from the sale of your home in order to do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Michael, let me ask you a question. What if markets are either in one of four stages? We're either in a market where prices are appreciating, or we're at the peak, or we're in a depreciating market where values are going down, and we're at the bottom. Now, just out of curiosity, what if you're right here, right now? And what if 6 months from now, the market's there? Are you still waiting?
I don't know, John. I mean, I don't want to lose any money on my home.
Yeah, so let me ask you a different question. If you were to sell your home today, based on properties that have sold in your neighborhood recently, where do you think it would sell?
We right around 400,000.
Okay, cool. And the home that you're going to buy on the beach, what price range are you looking at there?
Probably 500 to 600.
Yeah, okay. And you're going to use the equity from the sale of your home in order to purchase that property, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And if the market were to shift, if value on your home, let's say 6 months from now, is 380, are you still able to buy this home on the beach?
I am, but $20,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, I get it. And, you know, currently, because I did some research on this before I called you, because, you know, I know a little bit about you and you and I have been talking for a while. And currently, right now, in your immediate area, there are 21 homes for sale between $375,000 and $400,000. And there are 6 selling every 30 days, which means we have a 3.5 month supply of inventory. Now, my question would be, if we waited and it's 6 months from now, what if Corona's gone, praise God, and all of those people who are waiting for Corona to go away, there's a whole bunch of them, right?
Yeah.
What if 6 months from now, instead of 21 properties for sale, there's 48 for sale between 375 and 400? And what if we're selling more homes too? What if 8 are selling every 30 days? We've got a 6 month supply of inventory. Is it easier to sell your home here or here?
Yeah, it would be easier to sell it, I guess, when there was less inventory.
Yeah. So the question is, should you wait? And the answer may be, yeah, maybe, right? I'm not telling you the answer is no. All I'm
Right.
doing is just walking you through an exercise in order to help you determine what the right strategy is. Okay.
That's very interesting, John.
Okay. All right, we're off share screen. Guys, talk to me. What are your thoughts? What are your ahas? Are you having that conversation with people? And if not, can you start today? And I'm not telling you go get super aggressive, guys. We're still in the middle of a crisis. Make sure you hear that. I'm not telling you to talk people into listing their home who don't want to list their home. I'm just telling you, don't settle for, I'm gonna wait. Ask more questions. In order to provide a better experience, in order to provide better service to your customers, think about the team meeting yesterday and think about what Jennifer Weisberg shared and ask yourself this: if that buyer had another realtor, would they have had the same experience? If that buyer had been with another lender, would they have had the same experience? And the answer is no. Matter of fact, the answer is probably that deal's dead. So the difference between that family being able to move into the home that they wanted to move into and not being able to move into the home that they wanted to, and it's not just a 30-day conversation, it's maybe a 1 year to 5 year conversation. That family 5 years from now is in the home of their dreams because they had the right agent, because that agent provided a better experience. Now, what if you focus on that when you're making calls versus I'm looking for opportunity, I'm looking for opportunity, I'm looking for opportunity? All right, take yourself off mute and talk to me.
I think that we see ourselves as ethical, high-level integrity real estate agents, but in reality, we are salespeople. And as salespeople, we have a skill set that we have to hone, practice, and be good at. And that's how we are these explanations. And that's how it's not convincing people, like you said, if they don't want to sell, they don't want to sell. But at least we have the right language to coach them through the what ifs, if I do it now or if I wait. And as a salesperson, you can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Joy, we spoke, it was either last week or the week before, about having 3 different pipelines. And the first pipeline is everyone who is going to buy or sell in the next 90 days. And then the next group was they're going to buy or sell within the next 6 months. And then the third pipeline is everybody that is 6 months out. And this doesn't mean, guys, that you stop communicating with those individuals who are in the second and third pipeline or that you treat them any differently. You don't. You still bring value and service to every conversation. If I'm talking to Joy and we go through this exercise and it clearly makes sense for her to wait, then I'm going to help her self-discover that she should wait. And I'm going to continue to check in with her. And it's going to sound the same. Joy, it's John Dietz. I'm just checking in. I want to see how you're doing. And I also want to see, what can I do for you today? What do you need? How can I help you? I'm going to make her aware of different services that are available that would serve her family. And those things are changing daily, okay? It's still care calls. It's the difference between having a care call with someone who's going to buy or sell in the next 90 days or the next 30 days. And the difference between having a care call with somebody who's 6 months out. Because if I go back and I draw that graph for you, they're still in that timeline between lead generation and I'm serious. They're still living on that line, and I'm still communicating with them in order to create emotional proximity. That doesn't change.
That's the advantage of having a database or a system that prompts you constantly who to call, who to follow up with. My longest follow-up ever before somebody actually bought something, and it was a $450,000 sale, and that's back in the 90s, was 7 years. I never gave up.
Yeah, and that beats mine. Yep, good job. Mine is 3 years and 89 phone calls, right? 3 years and 89 calls. And matter of fact, for a year and a half, they never picked up the phone. It was voicemail, right? Joy, I'm proud of you. All right, guys, talk to me. I want to hear from everybody on this call. Not all at once, guys.
John, what would the script be like for a buyer that says they want to wait?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're looking for houses to go down in pricing.
Yep. It's similar, Latoya. What's important to you about waiting? What does that do for you? Why is that important to you? When you do buy a home, where are you looking to go? What's important to you about moving there? And you're still in that follow-up timeline. In other words, if it's not the right time for you to make an offer, if it's not the right time for you to buy a home, I'm just going to continue to follow up with you until it is. But my answer is all of you should practice writing questions down every single day. It's not a practice, it's just a habit. Get into the habit of writing questions down every single day. So much so that you never run out of questions. Another question that I would ask you, Latoya, is, are you going to be paying cash or are you getting a mortgage? And if you're getting a mortgage, if interest rates go up, does that change your plan? Are you still waiting? What if you were to wait 6 months because you want the prices to fall? I get that. And in the meantime, interest rates go up by 2%. And you're looking for a $400,000 home, and for every percent an interest rates go up, your affordability drops by about 10%. So now instead of looking at $400,000 homes, you're looking for $320,000 homes. Now here's the question. In 6 months, will that $400,000 home drop to $320,000? Because if it does, it's a break even and you should wait. Maybe. Somebody asked me in the chat if this is going to be on my YouTube page. Yes, it will be. And I will email you a link of that now that I've got that part figured out as well. And it'll be on my Facebook page as well.
Thanks, John. That was good.
Okay. Thank you. Talk to me, guys.
Good morning, John. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with buyers right now. They're motivated to buy. However, they want a low ball on the offers. I'm showing them homes around $330 price point, and they tell me that if they really, really like something, they can go up to $320. And I told them about this property that, you know, it's really worth what they ask for it. They asked $329. They still told me yesterday that, you know, they want to give $305 max. How do I help them understand that that property actually worth those money? And if we don't make an offer close to asking, it's not going to work out. They will not accept it.
Okay, so do everything you just did except asking questions.
Right.
Because if I tell you the offer's not going to work, then you and I are on different sides of the net. We're playing tennis and I'm competing against you. If I come across the other side of the net and I'm standing next to you, now we're partners and we're playing doubles. And I'm going to ask you questions. The questions that I would ask you would be, if you were the seller and you were selling your home for $330,000 and you got an offer for $300,000, how would you feel about that? Is it possible that you might ignore the offer? Is it possible that, would you possibly be offended? You know, if you were offended and the buyer came back with an offer of $320,000, have you written that buyer off? In other words, you're at a point where you really don't care now. It's you're emotional, and you don't care if that buyer comes back with a full price offer. You're still rejecting the offer because how dare they come in with an offer at $300,000? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you want this house? Now, if it's a 10, my follow-up question would be, if they reject your offer and you don't get this house, in 30 days from now, we're still looking and you haven't found a home you like more. How would you feel about that? I'd also look at what the monthly payment is, and I would show them what the monthly payment, the difference between a monthly payment at 300 and 330. And I would ask them, again, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you want this home? And if the difference in payment is blank, I'm going to ask them, is blank, whatever that number is, amount of money per month, is it worth losing this house over that?
Thank you, John.
Sure. My pleasure.
John, I just wanted to say something. I just want to say it is so reassuring to hear Joy Carter talk about going, talking to a client for over 7 years. It really gives me, especially, the determination and that hope to keep persevering and going after the clients, even though you get hang-ups or you get the voicemail so often. That brought a lot of hope for me, and I actually learned something from it. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, John.
Yeah, Joy wrote in the chat section, never give up. And I agree. And I'm going to tell you, it's a blessing for me. I'm honored and humbled to get on this call daily and see Joy Carter and Jeff Booker and Chris Toomey. These guys are experienced agents. They are in the business for a long time. They're successful. They're also all investors in the Coral Springs Market Center, right? And I know that they're on this call in order to support all of us, all of you. I hope that they're getting value from being on the call, and I know they're here to support you guys. Remember, we are a community of growth and support. It's so important.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Jeff, so I was saying on one of the calls, I think it was about 5 days ago, that this shift, this experience, this real estate chapter in my life has been the most supportive that we've ever experienced. I mean, in 30 years of doing this, never did we have this kind of support in any of the other companies we worked for. So it was so different. It was so, I don't know, it was so encouraging in the sense that we weren't alone. We were actually using tools that a lot of people just maybe don't even realize they have, and they need people like us to just make them aware.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I was talking to one of the editors with Florida Realtor Magazine for an upcoming article, and she was sharing with me what they're hearing from the real estate community. And it was interesting because I was thinking, that's not happening where I am. Everything that she was sharing was doom and gloom, right? And I'm thinking, not where I live, not in my company, not in my office. Yeah.
Hi, John.
Yes. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi. How do I deal with a seller, a potential seller, who's thinking now instead of selling, he wants to rent his property? I know the carry costs, and I've had that conversation with him, and he said he doesn't care.
So Jennifer, if you were to rent your home, what's your greatest fear?
I think my fears are different than his because he's been renting.
No, we're role playing.
Okay.
So, but be him. Go ahead. And I think what I'm going to hear you say is he's an investor, so that's not going to be a big deal for him, and that's cool.
Correct.
So, because it's always about them, by the way. And the answer might be, it might be better for him to rent. We'll get there, I promise.
Okay.
So Jennifer, be him in this role play. If you were to rent your home, what's your greatest fear?
I guess that I'm not going to get enough rent to, pay my bills. Maybe the rent is lower now than it was with the previous renter.
Okay. So what we should probably do is we should probably look at the market in order to determine what the value is if you were to rent out your property, okay? Now, what I
Okay.
want to do is I want to look at how much we can get, and then what is your cost, and are you going to cash flow? Now, if you don't cash flow, or if it's a break even, are you still planning on renting your property?
Well, I guess then we would need to look at, if I were to sell it now, would I get what I want for it?
Yeah. And Jennifer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a Zoom call with this seller, the individual that you're speaking to, right? And I'm going to pull out my white pad again, and I'm going to start drawing pictures, and I'm going to draw the same picture I did earlier. And I'm going to say, okay, we have 4 stages, and I'm not going to do that right now because it takes time to do it, and because you guys already saw me draw and you don't want to see me draw again. We have 4 stages in the real estate market where the market is either appreciating, or we're at the peak, or it's a depreciating market, values are coming down, or we've hit the bottom. And the question here is, where are we? And if it's a break even for you to rent out your property, in other words, you're not cash flowing or you're making just a little bit of profit, how long are you willing to hang on to this property before you sell it? I mean, are you gonna rent it for a year and then put it back on the market? Or is it gonna be 5 years?
Probably just for another year.
Okay. And if the market a year from now has depreciated and the value of your home a year from now is less than it is today, are you still selling, or are you going to continue to rent?
Oh, well, I guess then I would just continue to rent it.
Yeah. Okay. So my question would be, and I guess the question for both of us is, how long before your home is worth what it is today?
Yeah, I don't know. That's you need to tell me that.
Well, so when a market depreciates, you're either in a V market, an L market, or a U market. In a V market, the values are going to come back at the same rate that they went down. Now, if the market depreciates for 1 year and we're in a V market, in other words, they bounce back, you are 2 years away from your home being worth what it is today. If the market depreciates for 2 years and it's still a V market, you are 4 years away from your home being worth what it is today. Now, my question, if I owned a home and I were you, this would be my greatest fear. I'm putting you in harm's way, Jennifer, okay?
Okay.
That's not script. It's just you and I talking. Everything else is script. My greatest fear for you is the market depreciates for a couple of years, and then it comes back more like a U market. In other words, it's a slow return, and you're 5 years away from your home being worth it, what it is today. Now, if that were true, what would you do?
I'd list it now.
Yeah. So what do you think we should do?
Let's list it now. God,
Okay.
you're so good at this, John.
And time on task over time, guys. That's all. It's no big deal. And thank you.
John, can I just chime in for a second?
Please do, Chris Toomey.
Yeah, that was great. It was really awesome. I had this conversation yesterday, and the other thing that we added into the conversation that really hit the pain part of it was watching the news as far as unemployment's going right now. Well, yeah, a little bit. Well, my other concern is that what if we get a tenant in there and in a month they can't pay their rent, they lose their job? What do we do at that point? How much more money does that cost you as well? And that's really what hit the listing.
Good stuff. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Chris. That is a very good point that I will bring up.
There you go.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, guys, believe it or not, it is 9:09. Yes, talk to me.
Another thing I would say is when people are whether they're when they're looking to sell or they're looking to rent. You also have to, I've had investors in the past where the houses have been trashed. So you've got to think about that too. So that puts them in a pain level too.
Yeah. That's
So.
the greatest fear conversation. And that's what I usually do, Jim, with sellers who are not investors. And you're absolutely correct on that. And it's good to see you, by the way. How's your foot? You're on mute.
It's good. I've got 2 more weeks non-weight bearing. I'm ready to get out of this boot. I'm ready to get back in the gym, but but it's good.
Are you able to make calls, or does your foot stop you from making calls?
No, I'm making calls. I'm making care calls. I'm making a lot of care calls, actually.
Love it. There you go, my friend. I am so proud of all of you guys. I really am. And thank you for this opportunity. Remember, I get more from this than you do. You guys are feeding me. And if you got value from this call today, scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being it was an absolute waste of time, and 10 being, oh my gosh, that was awesome. I'm going to use this, 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 and this. I can use those things in order to build a bigger business, in order to live a better life. Then my one favor would be reach out to me and give me the name and number of someone I can call who's not getting this coaching and training daily, who would benefit from it the same way you are. Email, text message, send me a name and phone number. All right, you guys rock. Make it a great day.
Thanks, John.
I'll see everybody tomorrow morning at 8:30.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you,
Have
John.
a great day.
Thank you, John.
Thanks,
you.
John.
My
Thank you,
pleasure,
John.
guys.
Thank you, Joy.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.